Ha ha! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Man, this is another, and when I say exciting edition of the Second Row Podcast, that's exactly what I mean today. It's going to be a grand day for the next 45 minutes to an hour, man. We are going to be on a roller coaster, and I promise you, what this guy is fixing to spill as he feels it is going to be just epic for everybody in all as far as listening in on this podcast. First things first, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be a professional wrestler, I encourage you to go to a creditable school. There are so many around. Bumps and Bruises Pro Wrestling has two classes, one 469 in Carrollton, Texas, and one 501 in Sherwood, Arkansas. There's a lot more around just besides the Bumps and Bruises if you're not able to get to the Carrollton, Dallas area or over to the Little Rock, Sherwood area. My boy Rodney Mack and Jazz at the Dog Pound Dojo, they got your hookup as well. You got OBW and some other places, man, the Monster Factory. There's several places that you can go to get creditably trained as a professional wrestler. Give my boy Trey Mack over at Offshoots TV a holler out. What's up, my brother? And to my boys and girls at Kiata Kingdom, Soar, and Southern Extreme Wrestling. Keep killing it, man. Y'all doing good. And for my boy Daniel Stubblefield up in Fayetteville, Arkansas, if you want to get your drink on, man, give this cat a holler. He's even got your bulk, any kind of order that you need. Give Daniel Stubblefield a holler, man, at Boston Mountain Brewery. He's going to get you hooked up. But today, the Second Row Podcast is very proud and very honored to have with us today Rob Ryzin. As you've seen him on AEW, Rob, welcome in, my man.
Thank you so much for having me. Hopefully there's not too much echo going on in here, but and hopefully.
Man, it's all good. It's perfect. All good. So, Rob, let's get right into it, brother. So take us on this roller coaster, man. What made you a fan? What made you want to get into this, man? What got you wrapped around professional wrestling?
Well, I was a fan of professional wrestling for as long as I remember. So literally my first memories of being in a crib, having professional wrestling on the screen. Of course, I was born in '86. So that was right when the big heyday of the WWF era was coming through. So you had your Macho Man, your Hulk Hogan, your Ultimate Warriors, all of that were really coming up. All the colorful characters, which just captivated me from that young age. And I just had never lost sight of it. So it was an addiction right from the get-go, and just something I never lost sight in. Even fast forwarding to when I was in kindergarten, my grandmother, God rest her soul, she had kept all of my work from even kindergarten, and it said, when I grow up, I want to be a WWF wrestler, and had a stick figure, me holding the belt and all of that stuff. So again, literally from the get-go, I had always wanted to be a pro wrestler.
Childhood memories on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's
dude, and you said a really strong word to me, because I really believe in this part that you said. Character development is so real in the sport of professional wrestling that kind of a lot of times deciphers between the men and the boys, kind of sort of, as we call it, man. And brother, we already got so many people jumping in on us. What's That's up, great. Catherine? What's up, Phil? What's up, Donna? Welcome in, y'all, man. And I think y'all are going to enjoy this today, because this guy's got a lot to talk about. Now,
absolutely.
As far as training, where did you go to get said training to become Hell's Fury, Rob Ryzin?
So I have a laundry list. So this is actually my 20th year in professional wrestling, if you can believe that. So 20 years I've been at it. I got into the business when I was 17 years old. And when I started, I actually started with a wrestling school, born and raised in Colorado. So there was a place called Extreme and Total Chaos, XTC Pro Wrestling Academy, which was ran by Todd Kunzelman and Larry DeGarris. They ended up folding, within about a year of me training there. And so I had moved over to like Rocky Mountain Championship Wrestling Academy for a little bit. But then I just took a little bit of a hiatus and came back for High Velocity Wrestling Training School. And that's where I got the bulk of my training, was through there. There was people like Sarge, which was Jeff McAllis, Corpse, just a long laundry list of the local the mainstays that were local there. But one of the biggest things that I had also done was a week training camp with Harley Race and Les Thatcher So I got a lot of training right from there as well, doing that wrestling camp. And then it's just a who's who. You never stop learning in this business. So of course you have school, and of course the better the school, the better and further you'll be able to get into the industry. But I also think that there's a lot to taking and absorbing as much as you can in seminars. So I had done seminars from literally everybody who would come through. So Honky Tonk Man, Jerry Lynn, Butch Reed, man, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Mick Foley, there was, the list was just never ending. Matt Stryker, literally, I could be here all day just going through those, and you just learn a wealth of experience. But I'd say the bulk of my learning was, through that school, of course, High Velocity Wrestling Academy at the time, and then, of course, the camp of Harley Race and West Central.
Man, all you new viewers that are popping in on us right now, welcome to the Second Row Podcast. We have Rob Ryzin here, AEW's Rob Ryzin. Been on several of their different brands so far, man. And
40 matches. 40 matches in AEW currently.
Dude, that's saying a lot. Not necessarily as the time that you've had in pro wrestling, but as far as where you've come and the guys like me that watch a lot of independent wrestling, I see a lot of these guys that are starting to pop up, man. The Bounty Hunter. Let's just, come on. Let's just, let's put the money where it should be. Rob Ryzin. Guys like that are popping up on AEW that are actually, if I go, this guy right here, and whenever I'm doing that, it's pointing at you, but this guy right here is money. And when I say money, I actually mean money because he's a draw. And that's what a lot of guys aren't getting, man, is you need those seminars. You need to visit these major schools and catch some learning instead of trying to think that some guy in the backyard is going to get you taken care of, because that's not going to happen. Not for my field anyway. But all these guys that are popping in and out on the Second Row Podcast today, man, welcome. Appreciate all your comments. Jerry, what's up? Welcome in, bud. Java Sessions, one of our sponsors, popped in. He's got a question for you. He said, what was one of the strongest takeaways you got in your early training, one that stays with you today?
I can't say specifically where I absorbed this, if it was specifically from a seminar, but one of the things that I always preach, because now 20 years into the business, I do seminars myself. And what I really focus on, a lot of these wrestlers, they will, go through the ropes with you, watch your matches, critique those, and I can do those as well. But the biggest thing that I have always preached, for lack of a better term, is your character work and merchandising. So to become a character, and not only become a character, but more importantly, become a brand. You as a person, as you can see right now, I am wearing my World Domination shirt. I look at Ryzin as a brand. I'm currently in my home gym, which is covered in reds and blacks. I literally, if the camera would pan over here, there's posters and things that are, paintings and things that people have made. The Woken Deletion, and they're down right now because we had a hurricane, so sometimes the gym floods a little bit, and I never had a chance to rehang them up. But going back to my original point, marketing, advertising, and your character work, your character development, and just the overall marketing your brand is important, because let's face facts, there's not a lot of money in the professional wrestling industry at an independent level. So it is up to you to make yourself, financially successful if you're going to do this. Should financing be something that you're interested in, which it was always a big, why beat ourselves up if we're not in it to, try to make something out of it.
Exactly. So, and you just touched on another big word, man, and boys and girls that are listening in on this or that are going to watch this podcast later on, because I know y'all are. Y'all been following Second Row Podcast and y'all blowing it up. And we're trying to bring the best in the business to you so that possibly for the younger guys, you can take some of this away with you and help you out. But you touched on something merchandising. Now, do you have your own wrestling tee?
Yes, I have a pro wrestling tee site, and not to toot my own horn, but if nobody does it, then nobody, if I don't do it, then nobody will. But yeah, I have a pro wrestling tee store, and I have by far the best wrestling designs because I invest in myself. So I am not afraid to pay an actual artist, a good artist, to populate these amazing designs. I probably have more independent shirts than any other wrestler out there. And then I also invest in myself for the local shows. So I always equate my little section, and you saw me a couple of weeks ago in person. It's basically a flea market when I come to town. You have everything, and I take that philosophy. I always say that this philosophy comes from Gene Simmons of Kiss. Gene Simmons, as you can see, a lot of Kiss stuff in my background too, but Gene Simmons is my financial idol, my guru for branding and business. And, he has done everything Kiss branding. So, and I know he always likes to say that Kiss has everything from Kiss condoms to Kiss caskets. He'll get you coming and he'll get you going. And with that same philosophy, I've adopted that philosophy into Ryzin. And so when you come to a show, when you are seeing me live, you're going to see an experience in that ring, of course, with the character work and everything that goes on with that. But when you come to my booth, you're going to see bags, action figures, those little slam buddies, coloring books, of course, signed 8x10s, T-shirts. I mean, you name it, I have it, because anything that I can get into your hands, you're going to remember me for the long term, and it's about growing that brand. So,
and if you want to go ahead and plug your site for your wrestling tees, brother, I'm going to give you this second to go ahead and knock it down.
Awesome. So, of course, it is prowrestlingtees.com/Ryzin, Ryzin. And again, you have a wide selection of Ryzin shirts to choose from. The best in the business, highest of quality. I don't put anything out there that I don't find top quality. That I am a stickler when it comes to having the best quality stuff out there. I don't want to rob my congregation. So unlike other churches who like to rob you blind and take all your money, I want to give you something of value when you are a member of my congregation.
That is awesome. And see, this is the reason why I told you at the beginning of this podcast, brother, before we went live on air. This is about you. This ain't about nobody else. So if there's anything that you want to plug that's Ryzin style, baby,
awesome.
Plug Ryzin style for it. I don't mind you doing it, not one bit. I prefer you to do
Perfect.
it. Perfect. All right,
I will whore myself out as much as needed.
Man, do what you do, baby. Do what you do. Now, the Second Row podcast is it's self-explanatory because right now it's even sharing what we got going on right here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also today. Rob's pretty much a first. Dante was actually the first, but Rob is off of the test site. We are live on YouTube. We are also live on Twitter, and we are working on Instagram. And as soon as we get approval on that, boom, we're going live there also. Leah just chimed in, and welcome aboard, Leah. Good to see you, sweetheart. She wants to know how is the best way to make sure your story makes sense even at a new venue?
That's a very good question, and it's very interesting. So, we live in a day. We live in a world now where information is instant. So long before you show up to a new venue, it is up to you to not only promote yourself, but to let people know that you are going there and the reason you are going there. So, for instance, this last time that I had just performed, with you at that show in Arkansas for Chaotic Kingdom Wrestling, long before I had known that there was some dissension going on amongst what they called their congregation. And I used the internet to be able to continue to build that story. I also take a lot of pride in my promos and being able to put something out there for people to latch onto, and which is very important to deliver to the promotions well in advance so that they could follow along. But really, even if I hadn't done those things and I show up at an event, really your character work should speak for itself. So if I could come out there and within the first 30 seconds make you understand, is this guy a good guy, is he a bad guy, what's the the overall feel of his character. Pretty much any movie, any television show you watch, usually they are able to establish that within the first 30 seconds to 1 minute what this guy or girl is going to be about. And and wrestling is no different. So between the 10-15 minutes that you have curtain to curtain, it is your time to shine. It is your time to tell a story in there. And I take a lot of pride in being one of the best storytellers in the business. I treat every match, whether it's a 2-minute match on AEW Dark or a 30-minute match, in front of 500 people at some indie independent promotion. I want to know, and I want to put everybody on a ride the whole way through.
Man, and that ride is, in my opinion, so needed in professional wrestling today, because the roller coaster has a lot of twists and turns, a lot of ups and downs, and storytelling fits right along that roller coaster ride. Now, I've watched a lot of your promos, and not just from the indie scene, but also from the national televised scene. So when I say that promos are very important, boys and girls that are going to be watching, people that are coming in comment, understand that we mean promos are very important. See, that's kind of like this podcast, right? This podcast is a form of a promo. Have you heard Ryzin one time yet trip up? Have you? Because I promise you, you haven't. Now, with that being said, brother, I don't know what to tell you, but man, so many of your promos do the straight fire.
Thank you. Okay. And this is completely off the cuff. None of this has been researched. As a matter of fact, you had told me literally just a couple of hours prior, we were trying to work out a time, and I said, hey, how about tonight? And the stars aligned, and here we are. So none of this was researched. None of this was rehearsed. No, I had no idea what I was coming into with this discussion. So this is literally an open dialogue between you, me, and the viewers watching at home, asking questions. And so I do appreciate that, and I do appreciate that you call my promos fire. Again, I treat it like you should treat it, and the character, you have to know everything about your character, and I have Ryzin as a character and as a human dialed in, because there is there has to be a little truth to the character that you are portraying, a little believability in order for it to really be effective. And so that's the way I treat my promos, and that's the way that I treat these kind of conversations as well.
Now, if you're going to give some advice to a young cat coming into the business, let's say he's 2-3 years in, but he's getting good real quick, probably too quick for his own good, they need to slow down and work on him a little bit. Mm-hmm. What would you give him as far as his promo skills?
Well, as far as his promo skills, again, not to sound like a broken record, but he needs to. He needs to establish what he is going to be as a character, and that and that's really the people who are the most successful really have their character dialed in. And even if there's some believability in their character, as if if they're MMA type, real fighting type, you're not like a reverend or a commander of the congregation like me, or you're not a gangster, or you're not a cowboy, or whatever. There's still some character that you need to develop within that. And I always tell them, like, watch your favorite shows and stuff like that, and really dissect the people that you idolize, not only in wrestling, because people do make that mistake and they go, oh, my character is sexy Ricky Rude, and I loved Ravishing Rick Rude, so that's my character and that's my name and all that. But well, that's great, and that's good that you want to emulate him because he's one of the best to do it. But there's a wide variety of stuff out there outside of the wrestling world to latch onto. But to answer your question without being too long-winded, it would just be to acknowledge your character. And there's something to be said about just looking at yourself in the mirror every morning, whether you're brushing your teeth or doing something, and give yourself the a minute or two to cut a promo. Throw some random idea out there. Maybe you're talking about Roman Reigns on TV, or maybe you're talking about getting a hold of Darby Allin and AEW, and just practicing in front of a mirror just to hone that skill. And it's beneficial. It also doesn't hurt to have a nice vocabulary to go along with it, to be educated with what you want to say, having a good dialect, a good delivery and stuff like that. Everything's about how you deliver it. So,
man, delivery is very important, is it not?
it's absolutely important.
You know,
you have to have the inflection in your voice. You got to take them on, as you said earlier, a roller coaster of different things. So to be able to, Jake the Snake Roberts is literally the best for that, because he never had to really raise his voice, but you listened. So there's a lot of people like that as well. If every wrestler, well, something, today we are going to come out and we are going to do this and we're going to do that. And that's fine and dandy, but there's a time and a place for it. So, to be able to get down and say, tonight, Brian Keith, I'm going to take you on.
That's wow.
And I'll get to him here a little later because we have a casket match coming up.
I know, man. Ladies and gentlemen, October the 12th. I want you to understand, Cabot, Arkansas, it's going to be on fire that night.
Yes.
Not only is Rob Ryzin going to be with us that night, Brian Keith's going to be with us also, because they're in a casket match. If you have not clinched your ticket yet to this, I'm telling you, don't miss this show, because it is going to be not only wild, but probably one of the biggest shows to hit Central Arkansas to this day.
Maybe ever, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as far as independent shows go, I think it's probably the biggest show that's ever hit independent scene in Arkansas, period. But right now, we were talking about, Leah was asking, even about your work, coming to a new venue. Evidently, she's watched a lot of your stuff, right? Because she really admired it. As she said over here in the comments, she said, I was very impressed with that ability at Chaotic Kingdom, which tells me a lot. So they're watching you, brother. These people are checking you out. They're wanting to see what you're about, which is one reason why we wanted you on this podcast. So more people, I got 5,000 followers on my freaking Facebook. If my 5,000 friends see this and their 5,000 friends see it, or this guy's 1,300 friends see it, however many, and your friends see it. I mean, all of these.
I put this out on Instagram, 12,000 Instagram followers, about 5,000, 6,000 on Twitter. Which you can follow me on all of those at Hail Ryzin, HAILRYZIN. See, throwing that plug right in there and moving right along. But yeah, so Twitter, Instagram, you can find me there. And again, you said it was Leah. Thank you so much for acknowledging that, because it does mean a lot to a wrestler to come into a town where maybe somebody hasn't seen, and hopefully build a fan for life. So that is always the goal. And I'm glad that I left a lasting impression on her and her family.
Man, that's big stuff right there. That's big stuff. Java popped in and he said, what inspired your development behind your character? I think you spoke on that a few minutes ago by the picture that's behind you over there on the wall, over your right shoulder there, talking about Gene Simmons and Kiss. Is that what inspired your character?
To be honest, he really had very little to do with the creation of the character. So this is a fun, quick, and I'll try to keep it condensed. But when I originally started, I was just the Denver Daredevil, Rob Ryzin, working the independents in Denver and the surrounding states, Amarillo, Texas, South Dakota, Wyoming, all that area. And I had grown to realize that I had hit the glass ceiling there. I was doing the big star in a small pond, and I wasn't doing too much. And the WWE at the time, they were not coming through to Denver ever. So I really wasn't able to get any extra work. So I took it upon myself to continue to harass them via email and stuff like that to get extra work. And they finally gave me the approval in Sioux City, Iowa. And so I drove the 13 hours or whatever it was to get an opportunity on Raw, and then followed them from there to Wichita, Kansas on that Tuesday for SmackDown. And they couldn't believe that I had made that trip just for a little bit of extra work. But I believe that you have to do that if you truly have a desire for it. So I had pulled William Regal aside, which I think takes incredible balls and gumption. And I knew if I was going to be there and I had this small of a window of opportunity to do something that, couldn't hurt. So I had talked to him. And he had said, you know what? And this was about, maybe a decade ago now at this point. He had said, you know what? Like, he's like, I'll let you in on a little secret, kind of pulled me aside. He said that FCW was actually moving operations from Tampa to Orlando, and they were going to put a huge facility together. Fast forward, it became the WWE Performance Center, but he had heard rumblings that it was going to move to Orlando. So he said, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you really want to make a name for yourself, then I would pack up and I'd move out to Orlando or near it, just to be near the action. And so that's all he had to say. So within short order, I had, saved all the funds, and we packed up and we moved out to Florida, and the rest is history. Now, to go back to the original point, I obviously love hearing myself talk because I could ramble and go on and on and on. But
that's what we want.
Once I got here, it opened up a world of opportunity. So not only was I able, like within October, November, this first week of December, I was already on NXT TV. I wrestled Baron Corbin. So within the span of 2 months of actually moving here, the proof was in the pudding of like, be here if you want to get seen. And as I said, within 8 weeks, I was on NXT TV. They liked what I did, even though that was like an 8-second showcase of a match, but it's just the way that I present myself backstage that they had me back consistently. I think I had about 8 matches on WWE NXT in total on television. And I had moved from there to work Impact. So again, everything was going on in Orlando. It was the hub to be. And so Impact was running their events at Universal Studios, and I had got in with Bob Ryder, and he had given me an opportunity. He called me up while I was working my day job, and was like, "Hey, could you be here at 4:00? We may have something for you." And that's all it took. Within short order, I was down in Universal, and I was working Drew Galloway or Drew McIntyre on Impact that night for the Grand Championship. So I think I might be the only unsigned talent who got a title match on my one and only appearance. And Impact was a title match. That's pretty good. Anything I could hang my hat on. Good. But I had done some work with them, and they had asked. I'd done some dark matches, and they said, "Okay, now what is a Rob Ryzin? What is a Denver Daredevil?" And I really didn't have a great answer for him. So the agents at the time had said, "You know what? If I were you, I would, put together a character." So, again, I thought I had a good character, but I couldn't answer a lot of questions other than, well, I'm from Denver, and I'm a daredevil, and I'm a go-getter, and I, got this great attitude, and blah, 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 blah. So that night I was asked to come back for the tapings the next day. I literally went home and I constructed using all of my favorite things. I'm a huge fan of horror movies and a huge fan of things like that. So Lucifer, the TV show, Beetlejuice, oh my gosh, the band Ghost, which is funny because you said Gene Simmons, but actually the band Ghost. I kind of took all these guys, took a little bit of my real personality, my beliefs, my real world beliefs, and I kind of rolled them all up into this thing. And I came back the next day, and I already had a full character planned. I came with a full black suit and a red tie, and I had went up to them and I said, "Hey, overnight, I appreciate what you guys told me. So I actually have constructed I got the wheels turning on a new character, and I would love to get your guys' thoughts." Again, that takes a lot of gumption. That takes a lot of guts to even say that, but I think they appreciated it. So they put me in front of a camera. I got to cut a little 1.5-minute promo about being this new Ryzin, this reverend of sin, and that's where that really took off. And I just have grown it over the years. I have really moved from being the reverend of sin to being the commander of the congregation. So I did the reverend thing for quite a few years, and I've given myself the ability to be the dictator of the damned. So I moved myself up my own hierarchy. So now I'm the commander of the congregation, the dictator of the damned, but all still kind of within this realm of being a satanic preacher.
Man, dude, and the mobility that you use with your character has really, really blown you up as far as Ryzin, as far as the congregation, being the leader of it. I mean, that's really
Definitely
blown you up, and I love it, man. I really do.
And just something.
What's up, Daniel? Go ahead.
Do we have somebody in?
Yep, Daniel come in. That's one of our sponsors, and I was just telling him what's up. As
Ah,
far as the Boston Mountain Brewery goes, uh,
wonderful.
this guy right here, Daniel's a really good guy, man. He's helped us out a lot as far as where the podcast goes, and as far as Boston Mountain Brewery, we try to plug them as much as we can whenever we're doing
Amazing.
podcasts. But I
Very
want to go
good.
back to what you were saying because these things are very important because the younger class of pro wrestlers that are coming in, they need this.
Yeah,
They
and
need
one
this
of the
in the worst way.
definitely. And one of the things that I wanted to also bring up is again, I'm always evolving not only my character, but I believe in the branding and advertising that you can do. And one of the things that AEW had taught me is early on when I had started working there, they really put a lot behind us early on during the pandemic era of AEW. So I actually had a full-fledged entrance with flames and fire and the whole 9 yards, which was amazing. But one of the things they couldn't put the pentagram on the Titantron behind me, or whatever you want to call it, the video monitor. They had brought that up to me, and they didn't care if it was on my gear. They were very great about all of that stuff. But for me, I could have ridden that and said, yeah, you know what, like I'm still gonna do it, like a lot of independent wrestlers. Well, I don't care what they say. I'm not going to take what they say. I'll do my own thing. Well, but I was like, you know what? That's really smart. So I actually started drawing out and creating a symbol that I thought would still be in the realm of dark satanic look, but be Ryzin. And Prince was a symbol. Prince became a symbol, and I was like, I could do that. And so, in short order, I created this design, took it through the steps, and then I even, instead of hiring a lawyer and paying thousands of dollars, I became a lawyer myself, so to speak, and I learned how to
Wow.
trademark. And the symbol, I don't know where it is. The symbol that you see here is my symbol, designed, created, owned by me, federally trademarked by the U.S. government, and I will forever own this symbol. And again, that means more to me than anything, because now if I'm on AEW TV, if I'm on Impact, if I'm anywhere in the world, they could put that symbol up loud and proud. It doesn't mean anything but Ryzen, and I don't have to deal with the kind of the
The
politics of
politics
having
of it. Yeah.
a pentagram anymore. So
Yeah.
again, that's just a small thing that I hope people kind of take notice on, is like adapt, overcome. Do you want to do something in this business or anything in life? You've got to be able to adapt and overcome and do things for the greater good. And now I could care less if I ever had another pentagram on my gear ever again, because this symbol means so much more to me now. And I'm actually in the midst of writing my second book. And
Whoa.
it's going to be my manifesto. And there's going to be a whole chapter about what this symbol means to me, because it's not just, it means Ryzen, of course, but it's a symbol for my congregation as well. People have actually got it tatted on them and things like that already. So I know that this symbol means a lot to a lot of people. So I want the book to not only represent my beliefs and be kind of a self-help book, but also there's an entire chapter dedicated to what this symbol means to me and what it should mean to them. So the act of rebellion, there's a lot of different things that this symbol means. So I'm excited to release that out to the world.
Man, that's great stuff, and not a lot of guys are going to get what you just talked about, man. Actually becoming a lawyer yourself, learning about the law. But uh, so you had a match here at Cow Kingdom here a while back against the CKW champion Alpha.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Alpha's in the room, brother.
Oh,
He's
Lord.
sitting over and he's watching you.
Oh, Dark Lord.
Yeah, he said, "What's up, fellas?"
Yeah.
So, Ryzen, I'm gonna let you tell Alpha what's up.
Nah. To be honest, I don't really have anything to say to Alpha, because we all know who the true Alpha is, not only in this room, but in the world of professional wrestling. if it wasn't for his goons, his congregation, he would not have won, and I would have walked away the Chaotic Kingdom Wrestling champion. But you know what? All's fair in love and war, and he was the better man that night, although he cheated to get it. Next question.
Yes, I understand. So Donna's, she said that she loves that painting, that picture that's up over your right shoulder there, Paul Stanley. Man, she says that's one of that guy right there said that's her favorite as far as band frontmen go is that young man right there. I'm gonna call him
young man. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him young man because he hasn't left us yet, man. So God,
no, they're still kicking.
They're still kicking, dude.
Just one of the best things that had ever happened to me, and not to go off on a tangent, but I had just a couple months back just had dinner with Gene Simmons, believe it or not. So
whoa, and look at you, man.
Yeah, and I had him sign my arm because I was like, you know what? So that's his actual autograph, and I literally had him sign it right next to the Gene tattoo. We were in Las Vegas, went right up to we were in the Rio in Las Vegas. I went right up the escalator, walked right into a tattoo shop and said, Gene just signed this, let's get it done. So, what was funny about that, and going back to just, I guess I am a creature of habit, and I like to discuss the same things over and over. I think one of the things Gene appreciated about me is that we could have talked to Kiss, we could have talked to 1978, we could have talked to the 80s when they removed the makeup, we could have talked about all things Kiss, but I think he loved that I told him the story of the trademarking of my symbol, and we talked about business and branding and marketing, and I think that he appreciated that because, again, he was my guru, so to speak, and so I think he really appreciated coming from a different aspect of that, as opposed to, oh my gosh, I love Kiss. I was like, oh my gosh, I love Kiss, but Gene, thank you, because you've really helped groom me into who I am as a professional wrestler, which he thought was great.
It's a lot of people they're not visionaries. Okay. Let me just say that they're not visionaries. They pretty much don't know how to wrap their mind around being some type of visionary. As far as that goes with you and the Gene Simmons story, did you look at him as being a visionary to help groom you? Is that where you're going with that?
It's impossible to not call him a visionary. You start in the 70s. They didn't want to be like every band sitting on a rug strumming their guitars, singing Kumbaya. They wanted to be louder than all those bands, larger than life. And so how do they do it? They wear leather, they wear face paint, they spit blood, they spit fire. They do all the things that are going to create noise in the 70s, and they became the hottest band in the 70s and beyond, and became, a merchandising, megastars. You don't go anywhere without seeing Gene Simmons face paint or something on something. And he is absolutely a visionary, and you could take those same principles and use them in any thread of business, but specifically anything in entertainment. And so professional wrestling is obviously my entertainment of choice. So I've learned a mass of stuff from him, and to be able to thank him for it. I also believe a lot of manifestation, and and you could will things into existence if your mind is powerful enough. And I manifested meeting Gene Simmons, and not only meeting him like, oh, hey, can I get an autograph? It was, I sat down and I had dinner with this man. I was actually able to, I wrote a post all over Instagram that first night about how amazing it was. And the next day when we did meet for dinner, he was like, you know what? I saw everything you wrote about me on Instagram, and thank you. And so I mean, if there was ever one, I never get starstruck by things. I'm not one of those people, but he was my bucket list. If I could meet and greet any celebrity, who would it be? It would always have been Gene Simmons, and I've accomplished that. So I guess Christina Aguilera is next on my list, but
boom, by God. Now, do you stay in contact with Gene?
No, I mean, he's a busy man. I
Yeah.
assume that if we ran into each other again, he would recognize me. But it was just a very fateful opportunity that actually a guy, Matthew Robles, who is also on the independent scene, you guys could check him out, has helped afford me the opportunity to get this opportunity. So I again, it's not what you know, it's who you know, and that's not just that's not just a clever catchphrase. That is true across the board. It's not what you know, it's who you know as far as getting anywhere in any business, in any industry. And so, just befriending him and just going through those proper channels. I mean, he did me a solid getting me that opportunity. So I don't pick up the phone and talk to Gene or anything like that.
Now, Alpha popped back in and he said something, brother. I'm not going to repeat it. I think you can see it over there in the comments. I'm going to leave it sitting over there because, I mean, you've done said what you had to say about the whole deal. And this is about Rob Ryzin today. This is not about Alpha. So I probably should have never
he's
brought that
literally
up.
old news. He's literally on the back of the newspaper. We're looking forward to the casting match with Brian Keith, who was just on Rampage and made a hell of a showing. Now it is my turn to come in for Brian Keith in a casket. And you're right. This is all about me, and this is actually more importantly all about my congregation. So Alpha, your time has come. You got your chance. Your 5 minutes of fame of being in the ring with Ryzin. So just move aside and let everybody else enjoy the luxury of talking to me and asking me questions. So we don't even pay attention to what he said.
Welcome in, Jason Maldonado. Good to see you, my brother. We got Robin here with us today, man. He's looking forward to the casket match with Keith and everything. So I think that's going to be a barn.
It's unfortunate. I mean, he just got his first debut on Rampage, and it's going to be a short-lived opportunity because he'll be in a casket in just a short couple of weeks. So,
man, it's everybody's looking forward to the October 12th. This is lit show. I'm telling you,
it's going to be lit.
Man, is it going to be, brother? It's going to be crazy. I promise you. Now, we're coming to the part of the show, man. We're just about ready to catch out. Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you want to be a professional wrestler, I encourage you to seek out a professional wrestling school. The OIWA has two schools that are associated with it through Bumps and Bruises. The 469 in Carrollton, Texas, and the 501 in Sherwood, Arkansas.
They're both amazing.
They're both a very amazing school. If you can't get to that part, you're further south and west over in Texas. My boy Rodney Mack and Jazz have the Dog Pound Dojo. They've got your hookup as well. Find you a creditable school, man, with somebody who's creditable as far as training and get that training that you need. You're not going to get it in the backyard. I promise you that. You're not going to get to where guys like Rob Ryzin are sitting in. Or things that like people like Jason Maldonado have done, as far as where this business is concerned with some backyard trainer. Keep Ryzin on for another hour. I just got on here.
Hey, I'll give you guys another good 15 minutes if you guys want to hit some rapid fire questions. I'm a man of the people. If you want Ryzin, I am here for you. So yeah, if you want a couple more minutes, let's go. Let's go.
Okay. So, Jason, hit you.
But they better start coming in with questions. If they don't have questions,
this is a little bit. I'm going to say this is a little bit better than a question, brother. He's wanting a shirt that says "Obey" on it.
He's wanting a shirt that says "Obey" on it.
Yes, he said bring him a shirt with "Obey" on it.
So there is a shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees right now that does say Obey Ryzin, as a matter of fact, and it is a spoof to They Live, famous Roddy Piper movie. So if you want to get that, you can go ahead and be my guest and get it right now on ProWrestlingTees.com/Ryzin. But yeah, so asking you shall receive. It's only $23.99 if you act now.
He said, I'm not going to Pro Wrestling Tees. By God, he wants you to bring him one. But, again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be a pro wrestler, I encourage you to seek out a credible school. My boy Trey Mack up at Offshoots TV, man, keep killing it, dude. You're doing a great job up there, running podcasts up there as well. Down over here in the far left-hand corner of your picture, you see a picture right there with a guy standing like this. He's got his arm propped on the side.
I know
He's got
that guy.
this big crown on top of his head. Got a cape on. We call that Crazy Mo. If you don't know who Mo is, he is one half of the WWF two-time tag team champion Sir Mo with Big Viscera. Yes, all day long, baby, all day long.
Baby.
Send that man a message. See if you can get a T-shirt with that print on it, man. I'm sure he can get you hooked up on that. My boys at Southern Extreme Wrestling, my boys and girls at SOAR, my boys and girls at Cow Kingdom, man, y'all keep killing it. You're doing a great job. And for my brother Daniel up there at Boston Mountain Brewery, man, just see if y'all need a bulk order on some brewski, hit that guy up, man. He's got you covered. And what else did Jason say here? Hang on. Jason's just wearing it out over here. He said, I hate that middleman bullshit. Yeah.
Smart man.
Now Jason's he's gonna tell it like it is, okay? So here we go. All right, so let me read down the line here. All right. So Leah says the link is in the comments above. So she's helped out with the link.
Crazy Leah.
Yes. And Jason said, have you ever ran your own event?
No, but okay, I take that back. When I was in high school and I had just gotten, I was green as goose shit, but we had an opportunity. I was also the head of suicide awareness in high school, believe it or not. And to raise funds for that, I got them to give me a gymnasium, and we ran a massive show. It was a huge success. There was like 300 some odd people there. But only a few months into the business, myself and my tag partner, Jay Sin, we both went together on this and got High Velocity Wrestling, the school we were training with, to bring in the ring and everything. And so we had done that. But I know that I could absolutely be successful in doing it. It's just a matter of time management. I don't really have the time. I'm in a very blessed opportunity or blessed, fortunate part of my life where I'm so busy, not only with the wrestling, but personal endeavors as well. But should I slow down on the wrestling side of things, I could definitely see, along with my partner Jason, maybe running something, because he already has a ring and stuff like that. So we've really talked about putting together something in the future. So. But other than that, little shows here and there. But
man, that is great news, because I might be something I'd be interested in. And he wants to know, would you ever want to run your own event? I guess you just answered that, and that took care of that question. And then Java pops in. He said, "What is Ryzin's next challenge for itself?" That's a big question, because you have a lot coming up, bud.
yeah, well, I don't know if he means that in the sense of match ups that I have upcoming. I just got done wrestling the Headbangers, where my tag partner Jason, who I thought, again, we've been together 20 years in this business off and on. He ended up got his opportunity to team with me against the Headbangers for the tag team titles, and he screwed me over at the end of it. Now, his story would say that I was being selfish in the ring and not tagging out to him, but my story is, hey, you blinded me when I went for that tag with powder to the eyes. So that's all hearsay on what you want to depend on, which way you look at it. But I've got a lot of great things in the pipeline. Of course, I have Brian Keith in the casket match. I will be wrestling and settling my score with Jason for Atomic Legacy Wrestling in Melbourne, Florida, and the end of my year. Who's to say? But my overall goal is to, of course, continue to flourish in a television wide company, and to be able to get more opportunity there. So before all is said and done, I really want to be able to leave my mark on the wrestling world. 40 matches in AEW is great, but it's just not enough for me. There's a lot of other opportunity out there that I would love to try. I've wrestled for NXT, I've wrestled for Impact, I've wrestled for AEW. I want to get out there, and I want to work like NWA is one of my immediate goals.
Now, Miss Leah asked, do you have any seminars coming up?
Typically the seminars that I do, they come in waves, but I don't currently have anything on the books as far as a seminar goes. Then next time I'm in town, Jason Maldonado, he might be able to hook it up in early next year, assuming that person's from Arkansas. But I'm going to be in Dallas for SOAR in December as well. I don't know where Leah is. I think you said Arkansas. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm available to go and do anything anywhere when it comes to that. I love giving back and preaching to the future of professional wrestling or entertainment. I've done it all. I've hosted burlesque shows and hosted events. So you don't have to just stop at professional wrestling. This is the entertainment industry. So
boom, and you hit the nail on the head right there. Now, Chris Lockhart says shame on Jay's son, and Jason Maldonado says he says let's run an event, Philly Week, Mania Week. He wants to run one in Philly during Mania Week. Jason, let's go, son.
Let's work on a business plan and let's get something going. I mean, a lot of people run during Mania Week, obviously, but if we plan and coordinate it, I think that could be a huge success and definitely something that, definitely some. I don't know. I actually have a lot of creative ideas that I will not give away on this podcast because I really think that there's some way to capture the attention of not only the casual wrestling fan but the dirt sheets. So Jason, hit me in that DM and we'll discuss some business if you want to.
Look at that. Right there, love the connect, man. Love the connect right here.
Well, I love that, man.
Facebook, man, you got them connected, baby. And Jason says you got to work one or the other, Jeff or Matt Hardy. Which one?
I've already worked Matt Hardy in a ladder match. Matt, I did, yes, and Matt got the best of me. And then Matt also, I am the only person in the entire world that beat Matt Hardy in a deletion match. So, so I guess that gives you your answer. I beat Matt Hardy. He's beaten me. We need that rubber match, which we'll get down the line. So I guess the answer would have to be Jeff, since I've already accomplished one half of that goal. So
bet on that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about at the end of our cookout today as far as the Second Row podcast goes. And man, hey, that's what I'm saying. Let's book it, Jason. That's what's up right there. And we're just about ready to cast out for today. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob has spread it out for you today. I hope that you are able to take something away from this podcast that is going to help you out down the road as far as professional wrestling goes. Not everybody is going to get said information that we try to give to the younger class that's going to help them grow in this industry and get out of it what they want out of it. And that's a very hard thing to do because a lot just fall to the wayside.
You get out what you put in. So,
man, there you go, brother. There you go. And again, not a lot are going to get out what they want out of this because they just fall to the wayside. Rob, I really appreciate you coming on and spending your time with us today. I know you're busy, man, and if you want to plug your pro wrestling tees again, brother, go ahead where you got this minute to knock it out, kid.
Perfect. Well, this has been a religious experience. I hope that you guys all enjoyed my preachings. And I hope you, for those new and old, I hope you continue to be a part of my congregation. Follow me on all aspects of social media, facebook.com/Ryzin, to follow my fan page. On Twitter and Instagram, it's at Hail Ryzin, HailRyzin. And those are really the main ones. You could find me on Threads, which is Instagram's new thing, but I haven't been as vocal there as I would like. But I would say the main hub is my Instagram page. That's where you can capture it. ProWrestlingTees.com/Hail, or just Ryzin there. So ProWrestlingTees.com/Ryzin. And through YouTube, you could just type in Ryzin Verse and find a plethora of matches, including matches with Hardy, matches with Jerry Lynn, really a who's who. And then, of course, all of my AEW Dark appearances, most of them are on there. So you'd be able to find those as well. But yeah, really, I'm all over, and I'm, and I love interacting with my congregation. So don't be shy in interacting with me.
Ryzin
Hallelujah.
Microman 2024. That's what Jason wants to see.
What does he want to see?
You versus Microman in 2024.
Microman.
I'm just saying. That's what he said. Ryzin versus Microman 2024. I'm sure he's going to figure out who Microman is and probably blame you against him. Knowing Jason, he can come up with something, bro.
That's right.
But today, man, thank you for coming in, brother, spending your afternoon with us, man. And we really appreciate you and your knowledge that you have spilled with us today, man. And I look forward to seeing you on the 12th, brother. This is lit for Chaotic Kingdom Wrestling. And ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for joining us today at the Second Row Podcast, powered by Indie Icon Pro Wrestlers. That's with an S, because that's what we bring to the forefront is some pro wrestlers. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a very blessed day. Stay on the line with me just a second, Rob. Peace out, boys and girls.